I have like this crazy idea in my head that I don't think they'll do it 1-to-1, but like I think they might take some elements of like the XYZ anime and put it in there, because there is a lot of weird coincidences, right? Like the fact that Zygarde is so heavily focused in that when obviously it wasn't in the X and Y games. The fact that the final battle takes place in Lumio City, things like that. But there's one like filler episode in the XYZ anime that I always think of, and that's when they are traveling to the eighth gym. So they are around the area of Terminus Cave, right? They end up falling into like this hole or whatever, and they're in an old subway station. So it's very similar to Terminus Cave in terms of like, like a kind of old mine or whatever. And Clement says it's the same subway tunnel where he met his Bunnelby in Lumio City. So like they could easily rework that like Terminus Cave is like connected underground to Lumio City. Terminus Cave obviously is where you have Zygarde.
Yeah, you can kind of like pop
the catacombs through the tunnel into
that's what I'm saying.
Cave.
Yeah.
And another thing we've said is like, I think Legends Arceus took a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild. That I think that's like confirmed. The creators took some inspiration from that. I think Pokemon has always kind of borrowed from Zelda.
Oh yeah.
And so the idea is maybe, I don't know if you played Tears of the Kingdom, but you have the main Hyrule, and then you have the Sky Islands above it, which Sky Battles, and then you have the depths below it, which could be the catacombs. Is kind of the idea here.
Oh yeah.
But
I didn't know you went into the depths of Hyrule and Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
That's
that was the main.
Yeah, that's like a
cool.
It's like a core feature. Yeah. Like literally the
pretty
entire.
neat.
Anyways, I don't think we're gonna get that.
I need to play Zelda at some point.
You mentioned the anime Lumia. I need them to recreate that scene where Lysandre says like the swan dive off of Lumio's tower.
Yes, and they can. That's another thing too.
That was a wild scene for like a show aimed primarily at children.
Yeah,
absolutely it was. That's another thing too. Is we could always have, especially if it's set like around when you're saying JPR, where it's like kind of like 10 years or so after X and Y. Like, you could see Lysandre confirmed. We never got a body, man. Like, we never got a confirmed death. They kind of were like, we couldn't find him down there.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Like, a different media treats him differently. Because, like, Pokemon Masters, they say that, like, he survived the blast and he escaped. In the manga, I think he is given eternal life, but he's still buried under there and he can never leave.
Oh my gosh.
So freaking metal.
Yeah,
that's so the manga, though.
That is crazy. In the anime, he actually does get killed by Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Yeah, Bonnie is like, hey, Zygarde used like
really?
Enforcer on that guy, and like he just blows up, and like they're like, I guess she's dead now. So like Lysandre's fate is even like very different in every single form of media. So we don't even know.
I mean that lines up with most every Pokemon story is a different timeline.
Yeah.
Maybe they set Legend ZA in the timeline of the Rainbow Rocket Lysandre where he won.
I have thought
rebuilding
about this
Lumio City from his genocide.
Like maybe it's
even
set
in the timeline of X and Y, like the ultimate weapon does entirely different things depending on which version of the game you're playing. One destroys, one gives eternal life. So
it's very possible that it could be set in its own. I mean, it is set in its own universe, but it's like, will it follow the one that we know really well?